they're yelling about with what President Trump's doing. They're getting caught. They're getting caught because we're investigating, and they never thought, because it never happened before, that they had any repercussions. None. What they forgot about is that there is 30 years worth of data sitting out there. Fortunately, we got these data centers going up, and we can find information. And the ability to locate it easily, just spend time and look at it. So this is a little background as to why. As we're getting into this and watching this, I'd like you to think about a couple things and keep it in your mind and question as you're going through this. Number one, and the biggest reason is because the media, they're ignorant, they're narcissistic, and they have greed. And what they've done is they haven't thought enough. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Never thought anybody's going to investigate them. Never thought they'd go to jail. Look at what they're yelling about with what President Trump's doing. They're getting caught. They're getting caught because we're investigating, and they never thought, because it never happened before, that they had any repercussions. None. What they forgot about is that there is 30 years.
Spike people's health insurance costs in very short order, almost by almost unbelievable amounts. And I'll show you what I mean. States are now starting to release the actual numbers on what.
Now, this is what I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on which states that she talks about. I want you to focus on the premiums that she outlines. I want you to listen to how she talks about who's to blame for this and who's going to be hurt. So just keep that in your mind as you're going through this, because that's the basis for this whole thing.
Would go up. But maybe that's, that sounds like it's a fairly well-off family, and you think, oh, well, maybe that doesn't apply to me. I'm not quite in that kind of a bracket. Well, imagine you're in a couple, you're each 60 years old, and you put both of your salaries together, combined, you make $85,000 a year. So maybe one of you is making 40 grand a year, maybe one of you is making $45,000 a year. Combined, your couple's income is $85,000 a year. In Maryland, your insurance premium is going to go up by $13,700. In Minnesota, your insurance is going to go up by $15,500.
The worse you are. So, now let's take this. If you were looking at this and saying, okay, I just found myself an avenue, because again, I started thinking about this 30 days ago. And now there's this, there's a big thing out there, this healthcare stuff. They've been talking about, and now she comes on TV. Obviously, New York Times put it out there. But she comes on TV spouting all this stuff. And I saw it. I would have never seen the New York Times. But I saw this. And I looked at it and I said, I wonder if that's accurate. So what did I do? I did my little stuff. Let me start. What I first did is I said, okay, one of those states that you talked about was Maryland. So what I did is I wanted to go, what is about, I got to this. And one of the things I'd asked was, which states offer their own health insurance? Subsidies. It comes down and it gives you these different states. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey. Now let me share with you what this means. This here is the federal government's, think of it as the federal government's insurance plans, financial plans, subsidies, and this is what you buy off, what every state buys off. However, some states have started their own healthcare plans. So every resident in the given states that have their own health plans really their own health care marketplace, every resident in those states can either buy from the government's plan, which is Obamacare, or they can buy from a plan from what the state set up. That's interesting. Go to their homepage, and here's what you get. Now, this is at MarylandHealthConnect.gov. Maryland Health Connection. This is Maryland's insurance. So if we come on over here to say, big changes. Starting next year, federal rules will change health insurance in Maryland. We're happy to help you understand what's happening. 4 things right now. 1, use your coverage. Your 2025 plan is still good. Plan for higher costs. The extra savings, enhanced premium tax credits funded by the federal government will probably end this year. Financial help is still available, but many enrollees will receive less than before. Their increases. Lowest cost silver plan. Look at this. Monthly change. Is that 66%? I don't think so. It's actually 4.7, 8.0, 10.0, 13.0, 6.1, 14.9, 9.8. It's a far cry from a 66%. So that's what I learned from after starting to investigate Maryland, and it taught me a lot. It taught me about the federal program, and it taught me about these states that have set up their own programs. And after going through all this confusing stuff on all of the verbiage on here, I didn't realize it until spending a lot of time that going through all of these pages on this Maryland thing, it took a while for me to really understand that it was 2 different programs. So next what I wanted to do, so the question here is, where did they get the money? Because you're going to find that Maryland went back to their state, to the Senate and everything in the state, amended things. But don't worry, we'll help you. Compare plans, find one thing that fits better, and connect the free help. What they are doing on this is they're telling you to compare plans. What plans are they referring to? They are referring to compare the plan you can find here at Maryland Health or the plan that you find from the federal government. Compare the 2. If you look at the costs over here, you're going to find that $16,000. You're going to find that, what they were talking about. Because the subsidies from the federal government are not being applied within the federal plan. So they're asking you to compare. Where'd it go? What happened? Where'd I go? So am I eligible? Am I eligible for Medicaid? What is the age limit? Okay, here do I qualify? Let's get a look at all that. Now this talks about all of the what they're talking about here. It talks about how they've extended this Maryland program. And it's there to set off to affect the expected sunset of the federal premium subsidies. Here we go right here. Now this came out September 22nd, 2025. Here we go. Maryland commissioners are granted that have premium rates through their Maryland program. The rates for individual insurance plans under the Affordability Act will increase on average of 13%, largely due to the impacts of expiring federal credits not yet taken. The approved rates are 3.7% lower on average than insurance carriers originally requested. Now we're going to start off right here. This is on, as I mentioned to you, they have two different, these states are setting up a different program, a state-covered program. In California, the state-covered program is called Covered CA. So it's at coveredca.com. And if you go into their newsroom on something that came out August 14th of $25 billion ago. Let's go back to so this is California. Let's go back to the pardons. Does that have anything to do with this? My thing, me, I don't care pardons, I don't care anything. This is treasonous. They have, these states have colluded. So we're following this track to remember where I started. I started with Rachel Maddow, which tied in New York Times, which now after we're looking at each of these states, now we're going to look at, I wanted to take